Today is going to be a little bit more of a quick sketch because I have been overly swamped with all of the great, what the heck is that? I'm going to ignore that and continue on. My computer made noises. I've been swamped by all of the wonderful New Year's parties and whatnot, which has been both great and has eaten up a lot of my available time. So I got another thing that I got to prepare for in like 15 minutes or something, 13 minutes. So I have an alarm set, and I just hope that I actually, can get something nice looking before then. I'm feeling a little bit of a Star Wars mood, so I'm doing some fun Star Warsy pieces. I believe it's Clone Trooper. No, Clone Trooper was it's Stormtrooper helmet, I think. Yeah, because Clone Trooper is part of the Clone Wars, which is a slightly different. I'm not super versed in Star Wars lore. I've seen like some of the stuff. I've seen few pieces. I've ignored all of the new movies, but I've delved into it just a little bit, and I've seen some diving into it, which is just it's just beautiful lore, and I just I really appreciate all the world building and whatnot that it has. I really like good fiction is just my favorite content. I just love good world building and character development in fiction. And old Star Wars lore has both of that, so it's just a wonderful treasure trove of things. This is definitely not the right size, but I'm going to ignore that and continue on. Yeah, good fiction. I just love it. My favorite fantasy series, like all-time favorite. I haven't seen one that outlasts it. Is the I think it's the Kingslayer Chronicles is what it's called. The first book is Name of the Wind. It's by Patrick Rothfuss, and man, it is a magnificent book series. It is so good. It is so good. It's gonna have 3 books at some point. Hopefully, third book has taken like 10, 12 years to get out. So, hopefully that comes out sometime in my lifetime, and we shall see. But I got introduced to it by my uncle, and I just love it so much. It's just so good. I'd talk about it and whatnot. I could probably talk a little bit about it. I can be a bit of a nerd. This is looking just like a cute little. That's not cursed at all. That's great. I'm gonna ignore that and just hope that this turns out somewhat good. And if it doesn't, I'll just come back to it in the next video and just refine it. Oh, computer's lagging. I might need to clear some cache data. Anyway, so a little bit about the book, and it's going to be way more about the world building of the book than the actual book itself, because I recommend people actually, getting into the content. But what got me into the book was my uncle was talking about it. So he suggested it. It was his favorite series. It's now my favorite series. It's incredible. But the real big hook to it that I loved was the fact that it has like a dual magic system. So it has a hard magic system and a soft magic system. People might not know what that means. It's mildly shocking to me, but I'll do some explanation. Expose, a little bit of lore dumping. Soft magic systems are where the rules are not super clear on what it is. So it's more of like a story device and a plot device rather than like a tool that someone uses, right? So Lord of the Rings has a soft magic system. At least Gandalf specifically has a soft magic system, and where he can do magic stuff, and that magic stuff just does magic thing. Plot continues forward because magic, right? That's way more of a soft magic system. The rules are super loose. It's not very clear to the not necessarily the reader, but it's not very clear, like all of the super in-depth pieces of exactly how it works. This is not going to turn out well. So I will just block in most of it and continue from there. Anyway, a hard magic system is something a lot more akin to like what a role-playing game would have, like a TTRPG, or like very strict rules on exactly what the modes of conduct are. So Dungeons and Dragons has a hard magic system because it tells you exactly what you can and cannot do. Now it blends into a softer magic system when you start talking about storytelling and the rule of cool. And the rule of cool is basically, if it's cool, do it, and then we work out exactly how that works later. So it's like, hey, I got this spell that could possibly do this thing. Now, technically, by the rules, it can't, but you think we can get that done? And the rule of cool would be like, you know what? That's a cool idea. I'm in. And then they say, screw the rules and just do the cool thing. Now that's a soft magic system. This is looking quite sad, but we'll keep going. Like I said, quick sketch. I got 6 minutes. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Rule of cool. That turns the hard magic system into a soft magic system because it says screw the rules. This is technically how interactions go, but I'm gonna ignore it. An example of that is I had a player character who is this one spell that can only target one person at a time, right? Now, he was trying to save the lives of everybody who got caught in this explosion of this academy, right? So there's a giant explosion, bunch of students thrown everywhere, and he's got this one spell that he can recast over and over again, but he can only target one person, and it takes up too much time to be able to save everybody because it basically stops them from it. It holds them on the brink of death so they can be revived later. Now he goes, hey, is there something I can do about this? Where I can go through and like target everybody. And I went, okay, screw the rules. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this cost way more to your character, so your character is not going to be able to like do magic stuff because you're overexerting yourself. But I will allow you to mass cast this in an area, right? And so that would be a rule of cool effect, where, hey, that's not technically how that spell works, but we'll allow it. Now, that's a soft magic system because we're like, well, the rules are more of a suggestion than anything else. Hard magic system would be if I was like, well, sorry about that. The rules don't allow for that kind of thing, so you're not allowed to do it. Now that would be a hard magic system because it follows the rules, doesn't break the rules, whatnot, right? So it's you make sure that you follow all of the rules all the time. Hard magic system, right? And those are extremes of hard and soft. Well, more of an extreme of a hard, not necessarily a soft. It's a bit easily recognizable as a soft. An extreme of a soft would be like, well, yeah, you could pretty much just do whatever you want because of magic stuff. So if you say this is what's happening, then we'll just assume that somehow magic deals with it and you can do this thing. That would be a bit closer to an extreme of a soft magic system. Soft magic systems are really good for like narrative storytelling. Especially if the main character does not have access to it or does not know how to use it, right? So if you have like some sort of necessary activating effect, or it activates on its own, or like the main character can't activate it, that creates some fun synergies in storytelling. or if you have like a third character doing that, right? So such as Gandalf doing the thing. Now, the back to the subject. I'm getting I'm getting distracted again. Uh, the the Name of the Wind or the Kingslayer Chronicles. I believe it's the Kingslayer. No, is it the Kingslayer Chronicles? No, I think the Kingslayer Chronicles is this. No, because that's Stormlight Archives. I think it is Kingslayer Chronicles. I could have that wrong. I never memorized what the name of the actual full series is, but the first one is Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, and what he has is he has a hard and a soft magic system, right? So he actually has the two of them, and they're completely separate systems in the. I'm just gonna blend this together because it looks nice. They're completely separate systems in the book series, right? So he's got the hard magic system, which is called sympathy, which is basically Bluetooth physics, right? I want to do this thing. I'm going to connect these two objects via the Bluetooth physics. The closer they are in like identity to each other, that's a little bit hard to explain, but we'll just assume that makes sense. The closer they are to each other, right? So like wood versus, so connecting two pieces of wood would be easier than connecting a piece of wood and a piece of metal. The closer they are to each other, the less loss there is across the system. And you can basically Bluetooth physics this thing. So now when I lift up on this thing, it lifts up on that thing. There's more nuances and whatnot, but that's the basic idea. It also can do it with reverse. When I lift up on this thing, it pushes down on that thing, and temperature, some things like that. So that's the hard magic system. It has a bunch of different exacting rules on exactly how it works. And I love it. It's beautifully written system. Second system, soft magic system. Now, I tend not to be the biggest fan of soft magic systems, but what it is its names have power. So if you can figure out the true name of things, you have power over it, right? Thus, the name of the wind, the name of the book, you know? But it allowed for there to be some really, really cool allowed there to be some really cool interactions and whatnot. So that made it so that there was some. I just love the interactions of these two things. He goes on his like one of his goals is to learn the name of the wind, and then as he goes through character development, that kind of that's time. Dang. I love talking about this subject. Anyway, I do actually genuinely have to go, so I will call it there, and we can talk about this later. Bye.